Hello and welcome. Today we're going to use REPL-driven development to take a Java runtime and form it and manipulate it to become an image gallery application. Right? So one of the virtues of REPL-driven development is to see things as soon as possible and create by reacting. Right? Since I'm inside of Emacs, I've bound 𝒥𝒶𝓋 Ctrl+J to allow me to submit arbitrary Java code to a Java runtime. Right? For instance, here is a solution to the FizzBuzz problem. If I select it all, right, and then I press Ctrl+X, Ctrl+J, right, you can see the answer is, the result of evaluating this is a list of strings and let's do that again. It's a list of strings that equals FizzBuzz, 1, 2, Fizz, 4, etc. And this is down here in the right-hand corner. I ran Java eval to make this happen, right? So let's use the same idea to make to take this existing Java runtime and turn it into an image gallery application. All right. So let's make a new frame. All right. So a new frame is created. You can see a bunch of gibberish showed up. All right. It's echoed right here. But frames are invisible by default. Right? For brevity, I'm just going to show the code and evaluate it with each step. All right. So let's make this frame visible. Ctrl+X, Ctrl+J submits this entire line to the Java runtime. You can see down here in the right-hand corner it says java-eval, and a frame has been created, and it's been made visible in my other monitor over here. Let me drag it over. It's so small. Here it is. So here's a tiny frame, but we made it by writing some code incrementally. If I click to my editor, the frame disappears. So let's make this frame always on top. Ctrl+X, Ctrl+J, right? And now it's always here. Right? Unfortunately, it's a bit small. So let's go to this line and say Ctrl+X, Ctrl+J, and now it grew. Right? So the nice thing about REPL-driven development is you can react. Right? You can write some code and react to the result right here and then. So let's move this up here. Okay. So let's give this a title. All right. So you can see right there the title changed. It's Ola. Right? If we try another title, right? There you go. It's a photo gallery app designed with REPL-driven development. All right, so let's remove my face out of here. Okay. Let's add a bit of color. All right. So Ctrl+X, Ctrl+J sends this entire line to the Java runtime, which then modifies this frame, giving it a bit of color. So that's nice. We can add some content. For example, I want to get some files. So let me do Ctrl+X, Ctrl+J. Right. So I've created a new variable called directory. I hover over it. You can see I'm just getting some files from this directory I have. All right. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to list all the files in this directory. So for example, if I just select this expression, right, this sub-expression, Ctrl+X, Ctrl+J, submits that to the Java runtime, and I can see it's an array of file, and it has 9 items. Right. If I hover over it, you can see in a tooltip what all those items were. And then I can filter them by the name. I only want the JPEGs, and then I want to convert them to image icons. Right, so let me select this whole fragment this time and say Ctrl+X, Ctrl+J. Right. So now I have a list of image icon called all images, and here's what its value is. Right. So if I hover over all images, you can see what they are. If I just select the name all images and say Ctrl+X, Ctrl+J, right, you can see what it is. Here's a bunch of images. Okay, so that's neat. So now that I have a bunch of images in hand, right, let me make a label of the first one, right, just to see how this works with JavaSwing. Ctrl+X, Ctrl+J. Now I have an image stuck in a JLabel, and let me add it to my frame. So it's a bit of song and dance. Now I've added it to my frame, and you can see I get some component thing, but it's not showing. Nothing changed in my frame. So why didn't anything change? So the way Swing works is you have to either manually resize this, or I can call a method called revalidate. Ctrl+X, Ctrl+J. If I call revalidate or manually resize it, we should be able to see a new image in our frame. Because I'm screen recording, this will of course take forever. #sad. There you go. our new image showed up. Right. And we can, we said our image is a JLabel of the first image, image 0, right? There's nothing stopping us from saying, hey, let's change the image's icon to be a different one. Control-X, Control-J, and there you go. It changed right in front of your eyes. All right, so that's nice. Control-X, Control. Oh. So we can change this, index instead of 1, let's go to 7, Control-X, Control-J, right? And there you go, some other image. And if we go back to some image 3, Control-X, Control-J, right? So it looks like we've made an image gallery application. We're manually changing the images. So the next step would be to add a button to do this for us. All right. Okay. So let's add a button. Control-X, Control-J submits this one line, and then we actually want to add the button in the next line. Control-X, Control-J. All right. I could have selected both lines and done it in the same go. And as before, we have to revalidate this frame, so I can change it. Ooh, so you see the background is 𝒥𝓋𝓏, and this massive thing is the button. All right, so that's unfortunate. So let's use a FlowLayout to get these beside each other. Right? And again, we can resize it. There you go. So if we resize, the FlowLayout takes place, and now you can see here's my image and here's my button. All right. Clicking on my button doesn't do anything. All right. So let's actually have a callback. So I'm just going to select all these 3 lines and then Control-X, Control-J to submit them. Right. So it's a simple callback. It just changes the title. Right. So if I go to the next image, right, and it says, you did the thing, times 0. Again, so this is the nice thing about REPL-driven development. You can see changes live, which I think is a lot of fun. All right. All right. So the callback just updates the title. Nothing complicated. All right. We can also remove the callback, for example, Control-X, Control-J, right? This removes the callback, right? You can see the code got executed with Java eval. Now if I click on next image, the title is not happening, nothing's changing. Okay. All right. All right. We can change the callback, right, to change the image. Control-X, Control-J. So now the actual image gets incremented according to my clicks, and we modulo the amount of images we actually have in hand. Because we don't have 11 images, I only have like 8 images. Right. So if I press next, right. Oh, let me resize my clicks. Let me put the Control-X, Control-J this, so that clicks is set back to 0. Oh, sorry. I changed my callback what do, but I removed this listener like 3 steps ago. So I really should add this listener, Control-X, Control-J. So the listener's back, the value of clicks is 0, and if we click it, there you go. You did the thing. The title doesn't change, but every time I click it, I get a new image. All right. And if we want to investigate this, we can, go to clicks and Control-X, Control-J, the value of clicks. Clicks is 4. If I go to next image, and now I evaluate the clicks again, Control-X, Control-J, now clicks is 5. All right, so every time I click it, I get a new image. All right, so that's really neat. All right. I'd also like to have a name of the image. I don't want it to say you did the thing. So let's get the name of the image in here. All right. As before, we can remove the action listener, and then we can update the action listener. All right. So it's a very simple thing. When an event happens, let's get a new image. Let's set that image and then change the title. And then finally, let's add that action listener back onto the button. All right. This whole removing and adding is because Swing seems to clone action listeners rather than keep track of them by reference. Anyhow, so now if I press next image, there you go. I got a new image and I got its title. Next image, here's my marching boy, and next title. Right, so that's neat. Mm-hmm. So we have a photo gallery app, and it was easy to make, and it's not a lot of code, but we created it interactively. So I think that's really neat. And because we're living in our editor, we can see some issues with our code, like, hey, this is a variable that exists outside. It really should be an atomic integer, and extra things like that. We can start typing, and the moment we say, like, I have an image and I want to set something, I get completions of all the things I can do on it, etc. So it's nice to live in your code and be able to execute code for it, run it and run it as well. Yeah, this was fun. Bye.